Whether you made the drive out to Middletown, Connecticut, listened to the game on WMRC, or picked up the local paper the next day, you no doubt have heard by now of how Milford Post 59's run in the 2014 Northeast Regionals came to an end. After an electrifying end to the regular season, steamrolling through the zone playoffs, and a repeat performance as Massachusetts state champs, Post 59 earned a spot in the regional tournament, standing as one of the final 8 teams in all of New England with an opportunity to advance to the American Legion World Series. If you were following along with the incredible highlight reels our executive director Rob O'Keefe posted on our YouTube channel after each game, you know how the tournament began for Milford. It was a terrific come-from-behind win in their opening game against the state champs from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. After that, it was the offense who stole the show in a Game 2 Mercy Rule victory against Bangor, Maine. And then it was on to the winner's bracket final, where they matched up against a very tough opponent in RCP Post 105. Milford ended up grabbing an early lead, and a gem of a pitching performance from David Sampson made that lead hold up. And so once again, Milford was left as the last unbeaten team standing, ensuring them a spot in the regional championship game. Now, Milford had a chance to go into that championship day with their opponent needing to beat them twice, but a slip-up in their Sunday night game against the host team made a one-game winner-take-all championship. Here now are the full highlights from that championship game.
Let's go!
This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. After 14 games over a span of 5 days, only 2 teams remained in the mix to capture the Northeast Regional Championship. Milford was looking to shake off their disappointing loss from the night before, while Rocky Hill Cromwell Portland Post 105 looked to keep the momentum rolling from their 7-2 win over Middletown earlier that day, which gave them the opportunity to play for the championship. It was decided that Milford would be the road team for this winner-take-all championship, so they would be the first to come to the plate. After RCP starter Cole Ogerzalik got the first 2 outs of the inning, Dan Mantoni would hit a ground ball to short, but Christian Budzik could not make the play cleanly, and Mantoni would reach, extending the inning. That would be significant as Joe White would single, sending Mantoni into scoring position, and a Michael Ryan base hit would bring in the run, giving Milford an early lead.
And this is lined out to right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. They will wave Dan Mantoni to the plate. The throw comes in, and it is too late. Sliding in safely with the first run of the game is Mantoni. It's an RBI single for Michael Ryan, and Post 59 takes a 1-0 lead.
Post 59 would have a chance to extend that lead in the second after Brendan Pounds led off the inning with a line drive double down the left field line. He would advance to third base with 1 out, but would be thrown out at home plate trying to score on a hard ground ball to the left side. Meanwhile, on the mound for Milford in this biggest game of the year was none other than 5-year veteran Dan Mantoni. He would be in cruise control early, striking out 4 batters through the first 2 innings. The defense would also be razor sharp behind him, turning 2 big double plays through the first 4.
Here is the 1-0 pitch. This is hit out to center field. A long run for Kevin Lynch. He makes the catch. They throw back in towards second base, and they get the double play. Getting caught too far off the second base bag was Chris Bouchard, and a heads-up throw in from Kevin Lynch in center field ends up in an inning-ending double play, an unconventional 8-4 inning-ending double play, but it gets the job done. The second DP turned by Milford in the game.
Finally, the RCP bats would taste some success against Mantoni in the bottom of the 5th. With 1 out, Josh Suiza would send a pitch down into the left field corner for a double, and he would quickly come around to score as the next batter, Christian Budzik, would come through with a stand-up triple that would tie the game at 1. Milford would not allow the game to be tied for long, however. After the first 2 batters reached in the top of the 6th, Brendan Pounds would lay down a sacrifice bunt, sending both men into scoring position ahead of batters 8, 9, and 1 in the order.
Can't help but spot Kevin Martinez in attendance here at this game tonight, standing in the top row of bleachers down the first base line. Unable to play in this game, Mike Caffarella in the lineup at first base. Down in the count, 0-2. Now off the end of the bat, this pitch is floated out into center field for a base hit. Into score comes Ryan. They will hold Blake Hill up at third base. It is an RBI single for Caffarella that puts Milford right back on top, 2-1. He swings at the first pitch and drives it out to left center field, deep over the head of the left fielder Sullivan. It will roll to the wall. Into score comes Blake Hill, digging around third base is Caffarella. They'll now hold him up at third base. It is an RBI double for Kevin Lynch, and now a 3-1 lead for Post 59 for Kevin Lynch. So now two in scoring position, and now first pitch swinging. Matt Tessina sends one out into left field for a hit. Into score comes Caffarella. They'll hold up Kevin Lynch at third base, and on the throw up to second base goes Tessina. And Milford is putting it together here in the sixth inning, now a 4-1 lead.
Dan Mantoni would come through with a quick 1-2-3 bottom of the sixth, and Milford stood just 3 innings away from a trip to the World Series, leading by a score of 4-1. But in the seventh inning, the pressure of the moment started to mount for Post 59. Alex Ramirez would hit a ground ball to the left side. Mantoni couldn't secure it cleanly in the glove and would rush the throw off balance to first base, and it got away from Mike Caffarella, allowing the runner to move into scoring position. The very next batter would hit a ground ball to shortstop that was played well by Andrew McMillan, but another sloppy throw to first base gave Milford their second straight error and gave Post 105 runners at the corners with nobody out. Mantoni would then hit Josh Zuiza and allow an RBI single to Christian Budzik, and RCP was in business, trailing by just 2 with the bases loaded and no outs. Coach DiVitto knew he had all of his big arms available in the bullpen, so he made the call to bring in his staff ace Dan Avery to try to stop the rally in its tracks. Facing his first batter, Avery would struggle to find his command, going to a 3-ball count before hitting Brendan Sullivan, forcing in the second run of the inning and cutting the Milford lead to just 1. Avery would bounce back, however, getting Tommy Seaver and Kevin Radzowitz to strike out, leaving him just 1 out away from getting out of the inning with the lead still intact. But after delivering a first pitch strike to Chris Bouchard, Avery would send the next pitch low, and Michael Ryan could not keep the ball from going to the backstop. That allowed Josh Zuiza to come in to score. Avery was eventually able to end the inning without further scoring, but the damage had been done. The game was now tied 4-4. In the top of the 8th, Milford would look to strike back the same way they did when RCP tied the game earlier. With 1 on and 2 out, Matt Tessina would be hit by a pitch, and Andrew McMillan would reach on the 4th RCP error, giving Post 59 a bases-loaded opportunity with Dan Mantoni coming to the plate. But RCP starter Cole Ogerzalik once again found a way to minimize the damage, getting Mantoni to ground out to second base, ending the rally. After a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th from Dan Avery, Milford would once again put the potential go-ahead run in scoring position, but again Ogerzalik came through in the clutch, and RCP would head to the bottom of the 9th inning, needing just 1 run to take the game and the Northeast Regional Championship. Dan Avery returned to the mound for a 3rd inning of relief, looking to send the game to extra innings. After a long battle, Avery would walk Christian Budzik to begin the inning. Number 9 hitter Brendan Sullivan would then drop down a sacrifice bunt towards first base. Avery would be tempted to unleash a quick throw to second, but would go the sure route to first, getting the first out of the inning. So with a man in scoring position, it was up to the top of the Post 105 lineup, where Tommy Seaver had been having a game to forget. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and a grounded into double play was the regrettable line for the RCP center fielder up until that point. But in the single biggest moment of the game, Seaver hit a line drive out to right field. Brendan Pounce flew through the air in an act of pure desperation to try and make the catch, but the ball just got past his glove, and from there it was no problem for Budzik to streak around the bases to score the game-winning run. In a game that had every twist and turn and pressure situation you would expect with such high stakes, it was Rocky Hill Cromwell Portland Post 105 who walked away with a 5-4 victory. They move on to face the best of the best in the nation in the American Legion World Series, and for Milford Post 59, their impossible dream of a playoff run came to a heartbreaking end. The loss was a devastating one for the team, the coaches, the fans, and even those of us in the media who couldn't help but become emotionally attached to such a special group of kids. To put the entire playoff run into perspective, I sat down with head coach Steve DiVitto earlier this week. Here are his thoughts on how the season ended, as well as his overall takeaways from the 2014 edition of Milford Post 59.
It's a tremendous accomplishment. I mean, these guys go from where they were to start the season, and to be able to call themselves state champions. Well, let me start back. Zone regular season champions, zone playoff champions, state champions, Northeast regional runners-up. And we did the math over the last couple of days, and they finished as the 14th ranked team in the country out of 3,818 teams. It's amazing. It really is. It's tough the way it ended, obviously, because you want to keep playing. There's really going to be one team in the country left that that can say, I won my last game. But these guys have nothing to hang their heads for. They battled all year long. We talked about it all the time. They were a resilient group, great group of guys who cared about each other. It was just such a tremendous run, such a fun summer. Something they're going to remember, and I know I'm going to remember. The coaching staff's going to remember for the rest of their life, the rest of our lives. But it was pretty special stuff. We knew we had a special group of kids. We knew we had the talent to do something special. I don't know if we knew we had the talent to exactly make it to a regional final. I don't think any team says we're going to the World Series to start the year. I think your ultimate goal is to get to the state tournament and battle for a state championship. But it was special because these kids were special. They wanted to be there every day. And we would tell them tomorrow off. Why? They wanted to practice. They wanted to be at the field with each other because they genuinely cared about each other. And it was great to see that. Last year we felt that it was taken away. I think you and I have said this last year. Major League Baseball doesn't have the World Series in June. College World Series doesn't happen in April. They play out a full season. And that's when you're going to find who, in my opinion at least, and I know a lot of other people's opinion, who's the true champion, who's the best team. And I emphasize the word team because early on, if we were in the national bound tournament, we would have been eliminated last year. If this year was last year, we would have been done after 3 games to be able to go to the regionals. And that's not right. A team that can gel and find its way in the middle point of the season and continue to make that push towards the end, that's the team that ultimately, in my opinion, is the best team, and it shows that throughout the year. Was it extra added motivation? I don't think so. I think they were motivated to be there to be successful with each other. The guys were, at least. But you can't say you weren't looking forward to potentially getting to a regional. Last time we were able to get to a regional was 2001. Like I said, last year we felt we deserved to be there. I think a lot of people would say the same thing. But no, we were excited this year to get to that state tournament, to win the state tournament. And to win the state tournament at Pheno was very, 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 very special. It was just a coincidence. The baseball gods really liked us that day, But no, I don't know if it was added incentive. Or it was just another, exclamation mark on the season. So it was great. Not many, kids are able to experience what they experienced over the last 6 days, and we wanted to make sure that, number one, obviously they were well behaved, which we knew they would. Wanted to make sure that we expressed to them, and we said this before we left. We're going there to have fun. We're going there to enjoy ourselves, but don't get us wrong. We're going here to win. We want to win this whole thing, and they had that same attitude. They wanted not just to go there to enjoy the money and the meals and the bus and the hotel room. They were there to win, and they felt they still had something to prove, and they came out and really did a great job of representing the town, their zone, their state. While I was there, our tournament officials every day would come up and compliment our kids, how well behaved, how polite they were. Gentlemen on and off the field. They enjoyed the way that the kids carried themselves on the field. And even some of the Middletown folks who were there, I remember the first game we were playing RCP in the winner's bracket final. A woman came up to me who was doing the tickets, and she grabbed me by the arm. She goes, "Hey, coach." I said, "Yes." She goes, "Come here." She pulled me off to the side. She goes, "Kick there." I can't say it on the air. Kick there, I was like, okay, kick their butt. But the other word. I was like, yeah. I was like, we'll give it our best. She goes, no, you have to. I don't like them, I like you. She goes, and they're our next town over, so that shows how much I like you. Okay, we'll do our best. But that was just an example. They really started to win over some of the people down there. And it's just a testament to the group of kids that we had. I can't say enough about them. I still believe that the winner of the winner's bracket game should automatically have that bye to the last day. Again, just my own 2 cents. The coin flips happen. I could have flipped that coin 15 times that morning, and I wasn't going to win that coin flip. It didn't matter. But we lost the coin flip early in the morning, so no matter who we were playing, we were the visitors, which I know sounds a little foolish, considering you were the team that was automatically in the championship. You'd think that you would have that home advantage, but home away, to me, it doesn't really matter. We were able to jump out on top early. That's the advantage of being the road team, is you were able to get your first swings, and we were able to get one in the top of the first, and off we went. And it ultimately got 1-1. Then we went up 4-1. So home, away, you hit first, you hit last. It is what it is. It's just a great example of a great team making a good comeback against another great team. I don't second guess anything our guys did. It is what it is. Unfortunately, like I said, the ball didn't bounce our way. But we had opportunities to score a couple more runs early on and in those later innings, and unfortunately, we didn't get it done. And our guys battled. They fought right till the end, right till the ball was that far from Poundsy's glove in right field on that dive. And again, we never quit. Never were satisfied with being up 4-1 or whatever the case may be. And I know I'm repeating myself by saying this, but I really couldn't be more proud of how they played and everything that they accomplished. And I know they not for 1 second did they feel any kind of pressure at all. They were loose. They were excited in the dugout for all 9 innings. And hey, you just came up that much. It was that close to being a catch. And hey, we could still be playing for all we know. RCP, you tip our cap to them. No offense to them by any stretch of the imagination. We truly and still feel we were the best team there. But that's baseball. It's going to happen. Not to take anything away or to sound like a sore sport, but we really and truly felt we were the best team there. It was just unfortunate the way it ended. And but like I said, I couldn't be more proud of our kids. I really couldn't. It was such a great experience, and I was just proud to call myself, their manager and their coach. I know the coaches felt the same way. It was a very emotional night that next day. Still is. It's tough to think about it with those guys who sacrificed so much this year, guys who had injuries who just continued to play. I could go down the list of 18 and probably give you an injury that each kid had toward the end there, anywhere from a pulled lat muscle to patella tendonitis to hurt elbows. You get this deep into the season, 38, 39 games in, it's very tough to find a healthy body. And we were banged up, but they never used that as an excuse. They wanted to go out and compete and play hard, and that's what they did. We're so blessed to have these kids, and their parents should be so proud of them for everything that they've done. They were, and the guys, unfortunately, that aren't coming back, I think it hurt them, the other night. It's tough when it's over. I've been in their shoes. I know what it's like. Lost in the state tournament my last year, and it was devastating. I remember walking to the bus, and I was pretty inconsolable. And I remember Coach P was being interviewed, and he pulled me over and he bear hugged me. And I remember when Danny was walking off the mound, Avery, after that game the other night, and he was upset as he was. I related to it because that was me. That was me 11 years ago. And these guys pour everything into it. Their heart, their soul, their bodies. Like I said, it's all of them, all those guys who are leaving and staying. We can't thank them enough for everything they've done. They say, Danny Mantoni said, I believe in the paper said, can't thank this group enough. Well, right back at you. We can't thank him and the rest of these guys enough for everything that they've sacrificed to play here, to wear that jersey. It's something special, and we hope it's something that they'll remember for the rest of their life.
I want to personally congratulate all 18 members of this year's Post 59 team, as well as Coach DiVitto and his entire staff. I had a chance to be with the team all season long, and I cannot say enough about what a truly special group they were. The season may have come to a disappointing end, but that cannot overshadow the great run they had. So once again, congratulations to the two-time defending state champion Milford Post 59. And I also want to recognize the efforts of Dan Mantoni, Dan Avery, David Sampson, Brendan Pounds, Scott DeCapua, and Cam Cosette. Each of those players saw their time with Post 59 come to an end this week, and all 6 players have left an indelible mark on the long-standing tradition of Milford Legion baseball.